This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
All right, we need to hit one more Alabama topic, very, very tiny, and I'll let you guys talk about the Thunder and the Pacers, and I'll leave, and y'all can just shut it down. 89 days. Well, actually, hold on. I know. Okay, yeah, I'll hit Warren Tyler after this before you guys talk all about the NBA. 89 days away from Alabama kickoff. We've lost the ancient text. No 89 on the roster. What's wrong with that? 89 is a good number. Where's the receiver? Where's the receiver that needs to wear 89? Defensive lineman. No, not a single 89 on the roster.
I think it needs to be said. The receivers who wear 80s numbers, that's so much cooler than wearing numbers in the teams.
Yeah.
I've always...
Or wearing single-digit numbers like 5.
Yeah, no. 80s are prime receiver numbers.
Calvin Johnson vibes, honestly.
Victor
Need to bring it
Cruz,
back.
80. Akeem Nicks. So many great Giants. Anyway.
So my 89 for the day is Michael Williams, head coach at Pickens County Academy. Michael Williams, the
Pickens
victim,
County.
Pickens County. I said
County,
Pickens
yeah.
County Academy. No, it is just Pickens County. You're right. Pickens
PC.
Academy is a different school. Great coach for Division I, for Class 1A here in Alabama. Michael Williams, the victim of one of the greatest robberies in the Nick Saban era. One of the greatest officiating robberies in the Nick Saban era. Michael Williams comes down with that ball in the 9-6 game against LSU, and he is down by contact on the 1-yard line. But no, the officials ruled that Eric Reed rips the ball out of his hands legally, which it was not. I mean, come on. Okay, maybe you want to say that that's my Joe's crimson-colored glasses, but I believe in my whole heart that Michael Williams comes down with that ball, and yeah, Eric Reed does rip it out of his hands, but what is down by contact? Come on. Is you should have a 1st and goal on the 1. Instead, LSU gets a turnover, and 9-6 continues, and that game was just what a war. You want to talk about tension.
Shout out to Marquise Mays, Duke, avid Duke fan, for the great throw that he put right on the money. The only pass he threw all year. And I give him credit. Good pass, Marquise Mays. You finally did something worthwhile in that game.
So I have a very favorable opinion of Michael Williams. I think about LeBron Ray. LeBron Ray was former number 1 overall recruit in the state of Alabama in his class. Just never really was able to capture that. And in Tuscaloosa, did become a draft pick, getting to New England, right? But just
Where did
never.
he go after Alabama? Do you remember?
No, he was always here. It
yeah.
went from here to the
yeah.
Patriots, but just never was able to be like dynamic defensive lineman. And so those are my two 89s for the day. Did we miss anybody? Is there somebody else that we are?
No one I can think of.
I can't think of anybody either.
All right, so we always want to get your opinions on these numbers. Tomorrow's 88. Isaiah Funga from Central Phoenix City. We'll chat about him just a little bit tomorrow. Isaiah Funga and Jay Lindsey, 2 Alabama kids on 2 different sides of the football, brings us to 88 tomorrow. Let's shift gears, and I'm going to tell you about Warren Tyler. And I'm sorry, Dax, you have a voicemail on defensive line. This has been a long show. We're going to keep going with it. So right after Warren Tyler, it's Monday. These boys don't have any class to do. We'll tell you about the Alabama defensive line.
So my name is Russ Warren, and I'm one of the owners here at Warren Tire. We started in 1961. My granddad on University Boulevard, so we've been kind of a staple here in the Tuscaloosa and the University of Alabama community since then, and so thankful to be in the 3rd generation. And we have 2 locations now in Tuscaloosa. We're right here at the 15th Street location right now, where we just do tires, brakes, and alignments mostly here. Our university location does oil changes, engine work, air conditioning work, front end work, the whole 9 yards. And so any of our 2 locations, you can come check us out.
That we were hearing.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, because I was like, everything looks right, but I think it was in your headphone right there. So if I turn it up, I meant to turn it down.
No worries. Yeah, no, that sounds excellent now.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Welcome back. We're back here on the Joe Gaither Show in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. We spent a ton of time on baseball. We appreciate Jonathan Jackson for commenting on the Facebook machine on baseball. And then we appreciate everybody joining us with that. We'll put baseball to bed probably for 9 months or so, but we are 89 days away from football, and Dax is ready to tell us about the defensive line. You can be on the voicemail machine at 205-462-7340, extension 800. This is Dax on the defensive line.
What is up, guys? It is Dax. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. Yeah, aside from the baseball loss, that's fine. We'll bounce back next year. Also, sick of all these fans wanting to fire Vaughn for having our first 40-plus win regular season in a long time, since before I was born. Holy crap. All right, so on to the meat of the voicemail. I thought I would talk about the defensive line today. I'm just going to go in order of what the Alabama website has on the thing. So first up, we've got Jordan Renaud. He's going to be in the inside. I think he's going to be an interior defensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. Actually, he's 6'4", 260. So he might be an edge setter. Either way, he's going to be a number 2. Right behind this freaking man, LT Overton. Man, last year, he had so many dang pressures, dude. All he's got to do is get a little extra step, a little extra pep in his step, and start getting that quarterback on the ground. LT Overton will lock himself into a first-round pick if he does that, which I believe he will. This man is he's going to be a fantastic edge guy. I love me some LT Overton. We got James Smith, also in the same boat as LT Overton, except he showed, like a little later in the year, what he could actually do, and I think that's going to be a good vaulting spot with last year's ending performance by James Smith. It looked like he was playing on fire, dude. Love me some James Smith. We got Steve Bolo Boomwa, the big man. I hadn't seen him play. I don't know anything about Bolo Boomwa except that he's just massive. I feel like he'll be a good plug, sit in the middle. Then we got Keon Keeley. If I'm not mistaken, Keon Keeley played a stand-up position in high school, and now he's 6'5", 280. He hit a growth spurt. Like, I think they've got him playing on the inside now. So that's also why it's taken a while for us to see what Keon Keeley can do. And I think he's going to get some snaps this year, and then next year we're really going to see what Keon Keeley is actually about, because he's still learning a new position. So I'm excited for except he's from Phoenix City, Alabama. He's 6'2", 290. Roll Tide. He's a redshirt freshman as well. So he's got some learning to do. He's going to be I don't see Isaiah getting on the field much this year. Jeremiah Beeman, another redshirt freshman, 6'4", 312 from Birmingham. That's a big boy right there. I think he'll also get the number 2 spot for the interior defensive lineman. I need to start watching more film, dude. Holy crap. Edric Hill, he's actually going to be. I feel like Edric might be competing for a lot of playing time this year. I mean, he's a redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 282. Hopefully we get to see a lot of Edric. And then the big man, Tim Keenan, returning production is all I can say about him. He's going to be better than he was last year. He's consistent. He's a really consistent interior defensive lineman. Love some Tim Keenan. And then they've got Kelby Collins listed as a linebacker on this website, but I think Kelby is going to play defensive line. But we're going to see what he can do. I don't know much about Kelby either, but we'll get him in there. I think I already referenced him in the linebackers too, but it's whatever. All right, that's about it for my defensive line voicemail. Hope y'all boys have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week. I need some sleep, dude. I'm tired. Anyway, Roll Tide.
Dax, join us on the voicemail line. You can hit us at 205-462-7340, extension 800. And Dax has been breaking down each Alabama football position group. He's done wide receivers. He's talked about offensive line, running backs. He's done pretty much all of them almost at this point, linebackers and defensive line. Hunter Brantley, will LT Overton get that one step and complete all these almost sacks that he had last year.
Boy, I hope so, because he was so close last year to Dax's point that he made of having not 1 or 2 sacks a game, but maybe even 3 or 4. And if he can just somehow find a way to get the quarterback on the ground, that's a game changer for us. So I think we were missing that last year. We didn't really have that guy that could just go after the quarterback and put pressure on him. And that changes the game. I mean, you look at the Super Bowl, the Eagles put so much pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and he wasn't even the same player. I mean, I couldn't even recognize the guy when he was stepping back, dropping back, getting ready to throw. So I think, it goes without saying, and it's really swept under the rug, I think, how much it matters to put pressure on the quarterback. And if you can get that guy on the ground, make him uncomfortable, it changes the game in more ways than one.
I agree. I think Overton has the potential to be an absolute revelation for this team. I mean, like, if he really does put 2 and 2 together, and if we really do see him performing at the level that we know he's capable of with, his physical gifts, with what we saw from him last year, that could change so much for this defense. And I have no doubt in his ability to reach that level. But at the end of the day,
no doubt.
I have no doubt that he can do it, that he's capable of doing it. It's so hard to forecast, especially on linemen, who's going to take a jump, who's going to disappoint. So
I'm more confident in James Smith taking a big jump than LT Overton completing those sacks.
You see, I have the opposite perspective. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Edric Hill.
Okay.
I think I'm probably a little lower on James Smith than a lot of other people. And look, part of that is I think Edric Hill is going to be a stud.
We fumbled the bag on Edric Hill last week because we were doing 4.6 or whatever it was, 94. So why do you love Edric Hill?
Look, first of all, he's got the size, he's got the physicality, he's got the all the intangibles. From what I've seen, it's also a guy coming from a part of the country that, and look, a lot of this is speculation. He's from Missouri, part of the country we don't recruit all that many guys from. So for us to have gone out of the way to bring him in, there had to have been something that was seen in him. Because I really, it's, look, I don't.
Well, he's in the classification. Redshirt sophomore. You've been in the tank for 2 years. This is your time to blossom.
Exactly. So Saban's guys saw something in him, and he has known something that has gotten him to stick around, because he was a high enough to recruit where there were many, many places that he could have transferred to on a number of occasions. And, it gets to a point where it's not make or break because you have time after this, but he's here still for a reason. And I think that reason is because he's going to come in and really make an impact in a big way this year.
I think another guy to watch, that Dax, I don't know if he mentioned it, but Kelby Collins, transferred from Florida, who went to Gardendale High School.
I'm pumped for him. I'm so excited for him.
I think that was a great addition for this defense. I think he'll be really, really good alongside LT Overton, opposite of him. And I think that he can make a difference in the pass rush this year. And we really need a pass rush. We hadn't had a consistent pass rush to get to the quarterback. And like I said, make him
Will Anderson and Dallas Turner existed.
That is true. That's 2 or 3 years ago, though. That was one guy.
Dallas was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, that's what I said, 2 to 3 years ago.
Is that a long time?
Just one guy, but not a consistent from a group.
Well, Dallas had Chris Braswell helping him.
Yeah, he had Chris. I don't know what numbers he put up, but we hadn't had a defensive tackle since Quinnen Williams, since 2018.
That's the truth.
And I don't know if it can be Tim Keenan. I don't know if Jamarian Latham will finally do something in his 6th year. James Smith, Joe, to your point, I'm thinking that he's going to be the guy that's going to make an impact similar to Quinnen Williams did. If there is a guy that will, it will be James Smith. So I think it'll be interesting to watch this season with James Smith to see if he can make that next leap forward. And I'm very confident that he can.
You got to love a defensive lineman that's wearing 23. That's a
or 22.
Yeah, both of those are great. 22 seems like it fits more on the edge. Mm-hmm. James Smith is going to be right on the middle there. I love that. I'm I'm a big James Smith fan.
Well, Hunter brought something up because last week, we were at 96 for our countdown, and I had some high praise for Tim Keenan. And I'm going to revisit that.
Please.
I'm going to revisit that Dalvin Tomlinson comp where I really think that he can be that kind of player for the Tide. And I think that he will be like just the anchor in every way, shape, and form. I'm expecting really big things from Tim Keenan. I genuinely believe he plays his way into being, at worst, an early day 3 pick, but day 2 pick is my expectation.
Second or third rounder, you think?
I do.
Cannot wait for it. It'll be here in 89 days. We appreciate it.
And Dak, one final thing on this. Dax brings something up that a lot of people forget about. Keon Keeley is adjusting. And I don't know a ton about Keon Keeley because I wasn't really following throughout his whole recruitment process. I mean, I got here when he was a freshman. The guy is so talented. Nobody is going to try to deny that. I don't know. Like, do you really not think there's a way for him to break through?
I hope.
Where?
And I agree.
Who is he taking? Who are you taking off the field?
Like, on paper, it doesn't look like there's room. But you got to imagine there's,
because you're not only playing, you're not only trying to overtake LT Overton and Kelby Collins, but Jordan Renaud's going to be a factor here. Jordan Renaud's going to get playing time. But where are you fitting Kelby Collins? Like physical specimen. You said, that no one's going to deny he's talented. I might.
really.
I mean, physical specimen. And I think mentally, what I've heard is that very sharp, very, very sharp. Dax is right. Adjusting to a new position. I think that you have tools there, absolutely tools there. But as far as
I think
comfort,
just because you're a 5-star doesn't necessarily mean you are talented these days.
Right,
like it
right.
used to mean. Like it used to mean something like when Jadeveon Clowney came out, we said, "Oh yeah, this dude's the next big thing." But
he's got
it's
tools,
different now.
but I think he's thinking too much. It's not instinct. It's not instinctual with him. Does that make sense? I think that he's got to line up thinking, okay, what do I do here? Where's my hands going? I think all these things slow him down. Not that he cannot be good.
Instead of just playing the game,
Yes.
he just needs to play the game, and that's it.
I genuinely this is the Edric Hill take I had, but kind of just on steroids because Edric Hill, worst case scenario, is, the number 2. He's a backup, right?
Yeah.
There is zero reason.
He's in rotation.
He's in rotation. There is zero reason in the world for Keon Keeley to stay if he doesn't think he's getting on the field in some kind of way. Because
coaches a lot of people to keep them to stay, right?
They
They're
do.
like, "Hey, we'll
Yes.
promise you,
I
we'll
get
play
that.
you."
But the
Happened with JD
writing's on the
Davidson.
wall. Like, he has to really, because if you asked Keon Keeley where he thought he would be at this point in 2023,
The NFL.
I mean, right? Like, he should be
Yeah.
he should be getting ready to be a day 1 or 2 pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
You got a long way to go for that,
Right.
my friend.
But this is kind of where you transfer and you find a school who'll take you in and help you take that next step.
If you think you could, if you actually think you're an
Right.
SEC type player.
This is the year that you go and do that.
I think he's a byproduct of a really talented player that just didn't work hard.
I think
Like
he
hard
has-
work doesn't beat talent when talent doesn't work hard, and he's, to your point, really talented, just didn't work hard enough. I guess.
Is this pure
Mhm.
speculation that he's not working hard?
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like,
I don't buy
have
that.
no-
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
I think it's more the positional change. I think it's more. I was a stand-up edge rush. I was a stand-up outside linebacker who just rushed the passer really as a high schooler, and was dominant, just physically
dominant
better,
edge rusher, and that's it.
physically better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And now you come here, you have the scheme changed on you, and then you got to go find, am I a bandit or am I a wolf? Oh, I've never played with my hand in the dirt. I just think there's a lot of learning that he's done. I would not say he's not working hard. No, I would not say that
Yeah,
at
I think you
all.
can't make that.
But
take.
I think it's fair to make.
we've no
How do you know?
proof of that. We have
Yeah,
no,
what-
nothing to
based on
base
what?
this off of.
Based on he's just not playing. I mean,
But
There's
again,
been
like,
guys that-
who do you play him over?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: if you're talented and you're good enough, you'll play. If you are working hard, like let's not just ignore that. Like if you are talented, they will find somewhere to put you. And
that's
made
why
the
I've said
point,
that.
he
I
is
wonder if he's
talented.
not.
And,
But now it's
Okay.
like, is it a coaching thing, or is he actually just not working as hard as he
and
needs
that's
to?
why I think
As
that,
hard as an LT Overton is someone outworking him. I'm not saying that he's not working hard at all. I'm just saying there's somebody else on the roster outworking him.
That might be a fair.
Specifically.
you can speculate that about any player. You really can.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fair.
but
Fair
part
point.
of your argument is part of my argument on why I think he'll find a way onto the field, because I think, yeah, extremely talented, had a year to learn this new scheme, because Womack's defense is not for everyone. I think that, I have no reason to believe that he's not working hard, and obviously that would change things, but I'm not going to speculate about something that I have no clue on. So I'm assuming that he's out here doing what he needs to do, still having all those physical gifts, now having had a chance to learn the new system. I think he finds a way.
I just think he's fighting an uphill battle.
He's fighting an uphill battle, but he's talented enough and physically gifted enough to win it.
And it didn't help him that Tim Keenan came back, that Jamarian Latham
Exactly,
came back.
exactly.
LT
I
Overton came
agree. It's
back.
a logjam.
I'm surprised that he's still on the roster, to be honest with you.
And
after all of them
that's
came
why
back.
I think he's finding a way. I think there's something for him this year. And I'm not ready to write off Keon Keeley having an impact on this 2025 team.
Maybe he just needs to be in the crock pot a little longer. Slow cook before he's ready to come out
Do you
and
think
be.
Womack does anything other than the 4.25? Runs anything other? I think it might do some players some
No.
good to run like a 4.3.
I don't think we're
Or
not going to see
3-4.
it. It wouldn't be true to his defense. He was hired partly because of the 4.25. Players love it. You listen to players, like
They rave over it.
yeah, no, they really do. They talk about how easy it is to learn and apply, and then also the intricacies and levels that you can hit with it. So I don't think the 4.25 is going anywhere, and I have no problem with that.
All right, we need to wrap this bad boy up, and I know you guys want to have a conversation. So I will get out of the way after I tell everybody once again that we're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. We appreciate Derek Daniel for hosting us each and every day, letting us have our nonsense on the air. Call Derek at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs, home, life, auto insurance. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel and State Farm is there. He's got great teammates upstairs that would love to run you a quick auto insurance quote. If you're not even sure what you're paying for with the company that you're currently with, they'll walk you through what you're paying for with State Farm, all the benefits of having a local agent. A local agent, when you get in a wreck, somebody that knows your name and knows what street you're on, is very, very, very beneficial. And so you call Derek Daniel at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. All right, fools. Like I said, I probably will watch about 2 minutes of this series. How much NBA have I watched already? 90 seconds already of this playoffs. So I know you are all juiced up. I told my friends, I said, are there any Thunder player that is that's on their last year of their contract? Because I would the best story to me would have been a 3-1 Thunder lead, Pacers comeback, and SGA saying, "Oh, I'm going to go play for the Pacers," just to parallel the Kevin Durant. But then I looked at
Just to rub salt in that wound.
Right. No, I want the parallel and the story would just be so fascinating.
That would be great for the NBA, though.
It would.
Be really good for the NBA.
Yes, but unfortunately, I looked. Everyone on the Thunder is under contract for at least 2 years, so no Thunder player will be Benedict Arnolding to the Indiana Pacers. Theo is a lifelong Thunder fan. First, take me back to blowing a 3-1 lead and KD leaving you quickly, and then spin us to this NBA Finals.
Look, that was the worst thing to happen in my 10 years of life at the time. Because, man, oh my.
I
could
feel
go
you,
on
dude.
for hours.
I feel that.
First of all, the blown lead was bad enough, especially because my brother was a Warriors fan and everyone at school loved Steph Curry, and just having to deal with all that bullshit for months. Apologies. But then waking up 4th of July, we're on Long Beach Island, we're going to the beach, we're on, sitting on the sand, ready for a great day. And My father gets the text that Katie is a warrior.
The Woj bomb of all
I-
Woj bombs.
Because I have no kind of device or anything. I'm just on the beach. And I do not believe this for 1 second. I had to Google search it for about 20 minutes before I finally, the denial went away and you had to accept. So it's been such a long and gratifying journey being a Thunder fan. Watching everything get traded away, watching Shea come in, watching the way that Chris Paul mentored him, watching us be one of the worst teams in the league. And then I remember the day where it all came together. December 2021, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander inks his 5-year extension with the Thunder. And I go and I post on my Instagram right away, 2025 NBA champs. I have the receipt and I will be spreading it everywhere in about a week and a half. But just looking at the way this rebuild went, right? You get Shea in this trade, a guy who showed flashes, but no one knew he was capable of this. You bring in Lou Dort as an undrafted free agent out of nowhere. You use a lottery pick on some guy from Santa Clara who nobody knows in Jalen Williams. You luck into getting Chet in the lottery. That's really the one stroke of luck that's helped this team at all.
What pick was he?
He was number 2.
2.
It's just everything has worked out incredibly. Aaron Wiggins, pick 55, is an impact player. Isaiah Joe averaged like 3 minutes a game on the 76ers, and now is one of the best three-point shooters in the league.
You got Caruso in the trade from the Bulls.
Right. Like Josh Giddey, as the 6th overall pick, wasn't even a bad selection.
He was good. He was serviceable
in some big ways, but it was just clear that, and this is what makes Sam Presti and the job he's done so great, because he was able to, take what was a good player just in an awkward fit and turn him into a championship piece. Just Alex Caruso is everything that we have needed. Isaiah Hartenstein is everything we have needed. And this team is a juggernaut. We go 10 deep. And one of the most fascinating thing about this series, the Thunder and the Pacers, first of all, best record in the East, best record in the West since, I forget the date, since like December, because the Pacers had an atrocious start to the year. Look at how deep these rosters are.
Pacers
there are
deep,
teams
too.
with more star power. There is no team in the East that can go as deep as Indiana. And you saw it in a big way in this Knicks series because Thibodeau's running his classic 8-man rotation, and you got Ben Shepherd coming off the bench doing things for Indiana.
And TJ McConnell.
Yeah, the
9 guys still really good, and there's not that big of a drop off between starters and rotation guys.
It's incredible.
Both ways.
Just looking at, TJ McConnell's a perfect example because he's, not just because they're both white guards, but he's the closest thing to Alex Caruso. The guy gets steals at a crazy rate. It's a fun matchup. It's great for basketball. I would hate to be Paul George right now. Serious,
that dude's got to be like punching the air, punching the wall.
Real quick pause.
Yeah.
Real quick pause right there. Do the 76ers see these two teams and say, we got to get rid of this Joker ASAP?
Yeah.
ASAP, whatever we can get for him, start our build, start our process back.
Him and Joel Embiid. Just start from scratch.
It really is, It's crazy because there probably isn't a single team in the league who'll be willing to take on that contract. I bet it'll probably end up being like the Charlotte Hornets or something. Probably
pair him with Brandon Miller
or the Brooklyn Nets. Just because the Sixers are probably going to have to attach a pick or two for someone to take them. But this matchup is going to be fun. Indiana is an awesome team. Halliburton plays an incredible, ethical style of basketball, as people say.
Siakam's a problem.
Oh yes,
Siakam's a big problem.
He's had an incredible career.
Thursday night, 7:00. So I need to tune in.
7:00. Tune in, yes.
No,
There'll be a lot of great defense being played.
Only the first quarter will be competitive, but it'll be fun for that.
Is that Theo the Thunder fan or Theo the analyst?
That's Theo the analyst. OKC is just the way that they play. So Rick Pitino, right? He tweeted out last week that in his time as a college coach, he's never shown a team's NBA film. until this year's OKC Thunder. And seriously, if you're a basketball purist, if you are someone who has an
don't blame 'em.
appreciation for the way the game is played, look at the way that OKC plays defense. One of the things that people always complain about, right, is that OKC gets away with more contact than any other team defensively. The way that defense is called in the NBA is there's contact is allowed. One of the things that people always mess up, you're allowed to make contact with a shooter.
You
with
just
a
can't
player.
hand check them. You have your hands up, you're fine.
Exactly.
You're good.
And the only way you're allowed to make that contact is if you're in position. Because the problem, like the reason that people always foul Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reason he always ends up at the free throw line is because defenders can't keep up with him and they are the ones who are out of position. He has the prime position, the prime real estate. Guys have to foul him. OKC, it is a thing of beauty, the way that they can switch on and off defenders and the off-ball defensive movement, the way that Jalen Williams can come in, the way that Alex Caruso can move, and the way that Chet, the best, arguably, rim protector in the league right now. He is, 100th percentile in numerous stats, 96th in another one of the key ones. Just
Hartenstein's a double-double machine.
oh yeah, he is.
12 and 10 on a nightly
OKC
basis.
just plays the most beautiful defense that I have seen an NBA team ever play. And that, may sound outrageous, for a Thunder team that people really don't know a lot about. They are just an unreal unit. And this is one of the biggest failures of the NBA. And so much of the NBA's, ratings, cratering, all that can be attributed to this core problem right here. Thunder and the Pacers should be two of the most known, most liked teams.
The only problem is the star power
Well,
on their team is the thing.
That's what
Not
he's saying.
enough of it.
That's what he's saying.
that's what I'm
Not
saying.
enough of
That's
it.
exactly what it is.
Star power.
The NBA should
Yeah,
be
yeah.
should be pumping these guys
should
up.
be
Yeah,
built.
they should be. That's what I'm. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Halliburton and Shea are both incredibly likable guys.
Both very
Great
talented.
personalities.
Instead, it's just
baffling.
Luka and LeBron.
It's
Luka and
Luka,
LeBron. and-
Steph and Jimmy,
And
Giannis, and
The NBA is the most national league of any sport, I would argue, where, you have the highest percentage. Like, it's so little about you rooting for your regional team. It's all about the Central League, right? Like, I think that the average Brooklyn Nets fan knows way more about the league as a whole than a Yankees fan or a New York Rangers fan or a New York Giants fan, even NFL-wise. Like, you just know so much about the league as a whole. It would have been so easy for the league over these past 2 years to have built the Thunder and Pacers into, big-time pro. Like, Joe, let's use your WWE, right?
Sure.
What gets you excited for the match? It's having had these stars be developed, having had the stories be told, and having had a build-up to the big moment, right?
Big time.
just hadn't been that big build up.
When are the Pacers and Thunder on NBA Wednesday night?
The Lakers had more national television games than the Thunder and Pacers combined
Right.
this year.
That's ridiculous.
Like, if some guy was just in the main event at WrestleMania and you'd seen him like 3 times before,
I'd be like, what is this?
right?
It's because it's LeBron.
It would
Why?
have. The NBA had so many opportunities, and even a year ago, right? You look at the Thunder and Pacers a year ago. Pacers lose.
Weren't
in
they
the conference
semifinalists?
Yeah, the Pacers
both
lose
of
in the
them were.
conference finals. Thunder lose in the second round. Both clearly were going to be back in a big way this year, and the NBA still didn't.
Were they on Christmas?
No, this is the first time since 2007
That Thunder were playing
that
Christmas.
neither team in the NBA Finals had a Christmas.
Really,
That's a crime.
Both of them.
That's a
did
crime.
not play on
That's
Christmas?
criminal.
Neither of them did.
That's criminal. Because
That is
this
criminal.
because this like casual fan who checks in with the NBA once every like Christmas Day is the day I'm watching
Right.
basketball.
It's the NBA's day.
Like, that is
But-
the only time that about half of the NBA's audience are going to watch a basketball game before the month of March,
Sure.
right? and it's an absolute disservice.
They get a chance to show me 8 teams, your favorite 8 teams of the league, and I'll sit there and check in with that day.
It's disgraceful from Adam Silver the way that he has done this. And one of the biggest problems for me is that people have spent so much time during these playoffs debating, oh, who's the face of the NBA? Like, who's the new guy going to be as this old guard's retiring? It's almost like that debate matters more than what's going on the court. Because at the end of the day, the face of the league should be
The champion.
the young star who
Yeah.
lifts the title. That's what it is. You know, you have the most marketable stars you've ever had.
They wanted it to be Anthony
So
Edwards
mu-
so
oh,
bad.
Yeah, they do.
and there's nothing
And
wrong.
I think Ant wants it. He just can't beat Shea or get there to
He
the finals.
also-
That's why.
is not living a lifestyle that should make people want him to be the face of the league. You know, like I could go on for hours.
He
about
does have
this.
that Jordan demeanor, though. I'll give him that.
Sure.
That
and pe-
demon, but he doesn't play like Jordan. He's not as good as Michael Jordan at all.
Yeah,
But that just goes to show that the NBA is a superstar-driven league,
and you know,
and it's not a team-driven league at
this
all.
is-
Which, whether you like it or not,
Mhm.
is the truth. And there's really, I don't think anyone can do about it to
Well,
change it.
it's a superstar-driven league, and yes, the Thunder and the Pacers, they have these really deep rosters, right? And that's people's argument, like, oh, they're not superstar-driven. Shea and Tyrese Halliburton both put up superstar numbers. Halliburton is putting up prime Chris Paul numbers. Shea is the closest thing to Kobe that we've had in the league since his prime ended. They could be both viewed as superstars if the NBA had marketed them as such.
You got to get them on TikTok.
Gotta get him on.
is
Gotta
it-
get him on social media.
Isn't that the NBA's thing? Is like pushing TikTok clips?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like they have highlights that get watched, but that is also why NBA discourse sucks right now, because it's a social media league
Right.
where, first of all, part of this is just on basketball right now. The NBA, you don't need to watch a game for the first 40 minutes.
So you think Halliburton's a superstar?
Yes,
Really?
in every sense of the word.
Really?
he
I disagree.
leads the league in assists. He steps up in all the big moments. This man has that it factor. And that's what being a superstar is about. Anthony Edwards, as great as he was in the regular season, couldn't do anything against the Thunder. You know, they had that one game. Besides that, he was a non-factor for much of the series.
I think Anthony Edwards is better than Halliburton.
I do.
I agree.
No, I would agree that.
I don't even think
Edwards-
Halliburton's top 10.
Oh, I think he is absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
No. Heck
Yes.
no.
Because at the end of the day, what
Luka, Jokic, Giannis, and
Brandon
Shea,
Miller, Brandon Miller, Herb Jones,
Noah
Brandon
Clowney,
Miller.
Kyra Lewis.
Kyra Lewis, JD Davison, the pride of
Man,
Flahachi High School.
Let me just say that Herb Jones has to get onto a contender because
He
all
needs to.
the way that people are talking about Alex Caruso and guys like that,
He's worth it, dude.
Herb Jones would
Big
be
time.
at that level. Like if the Knicks added Herb Jones, if the
He's in
Celtics had
daggum
Herb Jones
purgatory
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
with
Defensive
Zion, who's off
premium.
doing God, knows
God,
what.
not making good decisions.
Zion should have been the
What's
face of the
crazy?
league by
What's
all
crazy is
accounts.
no one has viewed him as a superstar since he's been in the league. Or at least I haven't.
Zion or Herb?
Zion.
Well,
Herb's
that-
definitely a superstar for sure.
Well, he's in our hearts.
He's a defensive
I
superstar.
love Herb Jones,
In our hearts, and I agree, and I'm good with that.
Hale County legend.
All right, fellas, we've gone about 2 hours, so I'm going to split this episode in 2 parts, which is great. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us on the live social media machines. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _.
OKC in 4.
When the Pacers win, you control your tail off with him.
Give me Pacers in 7 for
You-
the record.
you-
Pacers in 7.
Pacers in 7. Okay.
Pacers in 7.
Follow Hunter Brantley at Hunter Brantley 8 on the social media machines.
Add me when they win in 7, by the way.
See them both on WVUA from time to time. As Theo, you're going to be anchoring again this weekend.
I will. Saturday, Sunday, 10:20 p.m.
Okay. WVUA local channel 23. You can find them right there. Read Theo's work at BamaCentral.com. We're going to get out of here for the day. We'll bring Mason Woods back in tomorrow, and we will be on 88 and just keep moving things. Summer's going to fly by. Oh my goodness, we're gonna do another Know Your Enemy. We'll do a little bit better Know Your Enemy segment on Wednesday. This past week we did Know Your Enemy for ULM and Eastern Illinois. We combined them and probably did both of them in about 7 minutes because
Not a lot to talk about.
whew, not a ton right there. We'll
Better
pick
talk a lot about Vanderbilt. They might beat us again.
No, we'll see. All right, we'll see you tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show. Big thanks to Hunter, Theo, and you guys, the listener, the viewer, for checking us out on your favorite platform. We'll chat with you tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.